I don't remember saying that, Emily Brooks said, and the way her voice sounded made my chest tighten instantly, like something inside me had cracked without warning. I stared at her, confused, trying to process what I had just heard. Emily, you literally said it last night, I replied, forcing a small laugh to ease the tension, but it didn't work. You said you wanted to quit your job and move in with me. We talked about it for almost an hour. She blinked at me, then tilted her head slightly, smiling in a way that felt unfamiliar. Jason Carter, I would never say that. I like my space. You know that. My smile faded. No, you said it. I remember it clearly. She stepped closer, placing her hand on my chest, her touch warm but her eyes distant. Then maybe your memory is playing tricks on you. That line hit me harder than it should have. I swallowed, nodding slowly. Yeah, maybe. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right because I don't forget conversations like that, especially not ones that meant something to me. Later that day, I sat across from Ryan Mitchell at our usual spot, trying to act normal, but he saw through me almost instantly. All right, what's wrong? He asked, narrowing his eyes. I shrugged. Nothing. Just tired. Ryan scoffed. You don't look tired. You look like you're questioning your entire life. I let out a breath, rubbing the back of my neck. Emily said something weird today. Or, didn't say something. I don't even know anymore. He leaned forward. What do you mean? I explained everything from the conversation she denied to the way she acted like I imagined it. Ryan listened quietly, then shook his head. That's not normal, man. I frowned. She's just stressed. Work's been rough for her. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Stress doesn't make someone forget entire conversations. People react differently, I argued, though my voice lacked confidence. Jason, he said seriously, you don't usually doubt yourself like this. That's what worries me. I looked away. You're overthinking it. He smirked slightly. Funny, didn't she say the same thing? I didn't answer because yeah, she did, and hearing it from him made something inside me twist uncomfortably. That night, Emily came over like nothing had happened, smiling as she walked in. Miss me? She asked playfully. I forced a grin. Always. She sat beside me, leaning into me, and for a moment, everything felt normal again, like the girl I fell for was still there. My day was insane, she said, resting her head on my shoulder. You won't believe what happened. Try me, I replied. She started telling me about her boss, her coworkers, and a lunch she had with a friend, her voice light and animated. I listened carefully, but halfway through, something felt off. Wait, I interrupted. You told me this already. She paused. What? This exact story. Yesterday. She pulled back, frowning. Jason, I didn't even see you yesterday. I blinked. Yes, you did. You were here. She shook her head. No, I was at my sister's place. Your twin? I asked slowly. Olivia, she said casually. I told you that. My stomach dropped. No, you didn't. She sighed like I was being difficult. I literally texted you. I grabbed my phone quickly, scrolling through our messages. Nothing. No mention of her sister. No message like that at all. It's not here, I said, showing her. She glanced at it and shrugged. Maybe it didn't send. Or maybe you deleted it. Why would I delete it? I asked, my voice tightening. Her expression shifted slightly, colder now. I don't know. You tell me. That tone again. That unfamiliar edge. Forget it, I muttered, dropping my phone, but my mind wouldn't let it go. She stood up, grabbing her bag. Good idea, she said. Because you're starting to sound paranoid. The word hit me harder than anything else she'd said. Paranoid? I repeated quietly. She turned back to me, her expression soft again, like the moment before never happened. I didn't mean it like that, she said gently. You've just been overthinking a lot lately. I stared at her, trying to understand how she could switch so fast, like flipping a switch inside her. Emily, I said, stopping her before she reached the door. What? She asked. I hesitated, then picked up a small note from the table. You wrote this, right? She nodded. Yeah. I pulled out another note from a few days ago. Then why does your handwriting look different? She looked at both notes, then laughed lightly. Jason, seriously? You're comparing handwriting now. I'm just asking, I said, my voice low. She stepped closer, placing her hand on my cheek again. You're thinking too much, she whispered. And it's going to ruin us if you keep doing this. My chest tightened. I just want to understand. There's nothing to understand, she said softly. I'm right here. I looked at her, really looked at her, trying to convince myself everything was fine, but something deep inside me refused to settle. Okay, I said quietly. I trust you. She smiled, satisfied, then leaned in and kissed me softly before walking out. The door closed behind her, leaving the apartment silent. I stood there for a moment, then looked down at the 2 notes in my hands again. Same name. Same person. But the handwriting, completely different. One was soft and curved, the other sharper and slightly angled, like it belonged to someone else entirely. I ran my fingers over the paper, my thoughts racing. This doesn't make sense, I muttered to myself. My heart started pounding, not from fear but from something worse, realization creeping in slowly. Every strange moment, every shift in her behavior, every forgotten conversation. It all started connecting in a way I didn't want to accept. No, that's impossible, I whispered, shaking my head, trying to push the thought away. But it wouldn't leave. Because deep down I could feel it now, clear and undeniable. The girl I thought I knew might not be just one person. And for the first time I felt something colder than confusion settle in my chest, doubt that I couldn't ignore anymore. Jason Carter, meet Olivia Brooks. That was how Emily introduced her, and the moment I looked at Olivia, something inside me froze. Same face, same eyes, same smile. But the energy, completely different. Olivia stepped forward before I could even react, wrapping her arms around me like she had known me forever. So you're Jason, Olivia said with a playful grin. Emily talks about Jason Carter a lot. I stiffened slightly, not used to that kind of boldness from Emily. Nice to meet you, I replied, pulling back slowly. Emily laughed beside us. Olivia is just more outgoing. Outgoing? Olivia smirked. That's one way to put it. Olivia's hand lingered on my arm longer than it should have, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something about this introduction wasn't normal at all. Emily Brooks never told Jason Carter that Olivia was this interesting, Olivia said as the 3 of us sat down at a small cafe, her eyes locked on mine like she was testing something. Emily rolled her eyes. Ignore Olivia. Olivia just likes attention. Maybe, Olivia replied, leaning closer to me, or maybe Emily hides too much. I frowned slightly. Hides what? Emily quickly cut in. Nothing. Olivia is just being dramatic. But Olivia didn't back off. Tell Jason Carter the truth. Emily Brooks isn't as perfect as Emily Brooks pretends to be. That line hit me strangely. What does that mean? I asked. Emily laughed it off again. Olivia watches too many movies. Olivia leaned back, smiling like she knew something I didn't. The tension between them felt real but also rehearsed, like they were playing roles. And for some reason I felt like I was part of something I didn't understand yet. Later that night I sat across from Emily in my apartment, trying to process everything. Emily, Olivia feels different, I said carefully. Emily raised an eyebrow. Different how? Confident. Well, almost like, Olivia doesn't care what anyone thinks. Emily smirked. And that bothers Jason Carter? No, I replied quickly. It just feels strange because Emily Brooks isn't like that at all. Emily shrugged. People are different. That's normal. I leaned forward. But Olivia knew things about me that Emily Brooks never told Olivia. Emily's expression didn't change. Like what? Like the restaurant I liked, the movie we watched last week. Small things but still. Emily crossed her arms. Jason, maybe Emily Brooks mentioned it and forgot. You forgot a lot lately, I said before I could stop myself. Her eyes narrowed slightly. What is that supposed to mean? It means things don't add up, I replied. You say things then deny them. You act differently from one day to another. Emily let out a quiet laugh. So now Jason Carter thinks Emily Brooks has multiple personalities? That wasn't what I meant, but hearing it out loud made everything sound worse. Jason Carter, you're not crazy. Something is wrong, Sophia Reed said quietly the next day at work, her tone calm but serious. I looked at her, surprised. Why would you say that? Sophia hesitated, then leaned closer. Because Jason Carter looks like someone who is trying to convince himself everything is fine when it clearly isn't. I exhaled slowly. It's just complicated. Then explain it, Sophia said. I told Sophia everything from the contradictions to Olivia's behavior. Sophia listened without interrupting, her expression focused. When I finished, she nodded slightly. That doesn't sound normal. Exactly, I said. But every time Jason Carter questions Emily Brooks turns it around and makes Jason Carter feel like the problem. Sophia's eyes softened. That's not how trust works. I looked down at my desk. Jason Carter still loves Emily Brooks. Loving someone doesn't mean ignoring red flags, Sophia replied gently. Sometimes it means facing the truth even when it hurts. I didn't respond because I wasn't ready to face anything yet. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, replaying everything in my head. "This doesn't make sense," I muttered, pacing slowly. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through old messages, trying to find something, anything, that could explain what was happening. Then a thought hit me, sharp and sudden. "What if?" I whispered, stopping in place. I remembered the way Olivia looked at me. The way Olivia spoke. The way Olivia knew things. And the way Emily acted, different depending on the moment. My heart started beating faster. "No, that's not possible," I said out loud, shaking my head. But the more I thought about it, the harder it became to ignore. What if Jason Carter wasn't just talking to Emily Brooks this whole time? I whispered. My hands tightened into fists. What if Jason Carter was talking to both? The idea felt insane, but also, it explained everything. The contradictions. The personality shifts. The memories that didn't match. I sank into the couch, staring ahead. Jason Carter might have been with two different people, without even knowing it. And for the first time, the truth didn't just feel confusing, it felt terrifying. I didn't confront Emily Brooks right away. Instead, I decided to test Emily Brooks quietly, carefully, like someone trying to confirm a nightmare without waking up fully. "Emily Brooks, what was the name of that restaurant we went to last Friday?" I asked casually while sitting across from Emily Brooks in my apartment. Emily Brooks looked at me, thinking for a second. "Why are you asking random questions?" "Just answer," I said, keeping my tone light. Emily Brooks shrugged. "I don't remember. Some Italian place." My stomach tightened. "You loved that place," I said. "Emily Brooks said it was your favorite." Emily Brooks laughed softly. "Jason Carter, I say a lot of things. That doesn't mean I remember all of them." I nodded slowly, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. Because I knew that wasn't just forgetfulness. That was something else. Something deeper. And for the first time, I wasn't trying to defend Emily Brooks anymore. I was trying to catch Emily Brooks. I kept going. "Emily Brooks, what movie did we watch 2 nights ago?" I asked later that evening. Emily Brooks looked confused. "We didn't watch a movie 2 nights ago." My chest tightened. "We did. Right here. You fell asleep halfway through." Emily Brooks shook her head firmly. "Jason Carter, I wasn't here 2 nights ago." The words echoed in my mind. "Not here." That same phrase again. "Then where were you?" I asked quietly. Emily Brooks crossed her arms. "Why does it matter?" "Because I was with you," I said. Or at least, I thought I was. Emily Brooks laughed, but it sounded forced this time. "Jason Carter, you're starting to sound crazy." Crazy. Paranoid. Overthinking. The same words repeated over and over until they started to feel like they were being planted inside my head. I forced a smile. "Maybe I am," I said. But inside, I knew one thing clearly now. Emily Brooks wasn't answering wrong by accident. Emily Brooks was failing because Emily Brooks didn't know. That night, I followed Emily Brooks. I hated myself for doing it, but I needed the truth more than I needed comfort. I stayed far enough so Emily Brooks wouldn't notice, watching as Emily Brooks walked into a hotel downtown. My heart pounded. "What are you doing, Emily Brooks?" I whispered under my breath. I waited outside, my eyes fixed on the entrance. Minutes passed. Then something happened that made my entire world stop. Another Emily Brooks walked out of the same building. Same face. Same hair. Same everything. But different clothes. Different posture. Different energy. My breath caught in my throat. No, this isn't real," I said, stepping back. I looked toward the entrance again. The first Emily Brooks was still inside. The second Emily Brooks walked past me without noticing. My hands started shaking. "There's 2 of them," I whispered. "There's actually 2 of them." In that moment, everything made sense. Every contradiction. Every shift. Every lie. It wasn't one person changing. It was 2 people switching. "I told you something was wrong," Ryan Mitchell said as I sat across from him, my hands still trembling. "Ryan Mitchell, there are 2 Emily Brooks," I said, my voice barely steady. Ryan Mitchell didn't laugh. Ryan Mitchell didn't look surprised. Ryan Mitchell just nodded slowly. "Twin sister, right?" Ryan Mitchell said. "Olivia Brooks." I looked at him. "They've been switching," I said. "Playing me like I wouldn't notice." Ryan Mitchell leaned forward. "That explains everything. The memory gaps. The personality changes." I ran a hand through my hair. "Why would they do that?" Ryan Mitchell sighed. "Some people like control. Some people like games." "I'm not a game," I snapped. "Not to you," Ryan Mitchell said quietly. But to them, maybe you are. That line hit me harder than anything else. Because deep down I knew it was true. I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't imagining things. I had been played. And the worst part was, I let it happen. I confronted Emily Brooks that same night. How long? I asked the moment Emily Brooks walked in. Emily Brooks frowned. How long what? How long have you and Olivia Brooks been switching places? I said, my voice cold. Emily Brooks stared at me, then suddenly laughed. Jason Carter, what are you talking about? Don't do that, I snapped. I saw both of you. Same night. Same place. Emily Brooks rolled her eyes. You're imagining things again. Stop calling me crazy, I said, stepping closer. Just tell me the truth. Emily Brooks crossed her arms, smiling like none of this mattered. Even if that was true, so what? That sentence broke something inside me. So what? I repeated. You lied to me. You played with me. Emily Brooks shrugged. It was just harmless fun. My chest tightened. Fun. Emily Brooks tilted her head. Jason Carter is too sensitive. I stared at Emily Brooks, realizing I didn't recognize this person at all anymore. Then my phone buzzed. I looked down. A message. From Olivia Brooks. Did you enjoy the version of me more? My hands went cold. That message didn't just hurt, it shattered me completely. I looked back at Emily Brooks, my voice barely a whisper. This wasn't a mistake, was it? Emily Brooks smiled faintly. And in that moment I understood everything. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't coincidence. This was planned. This was deliberate. This was a game. And I was never supposed to win. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw two versions of Emily Brooks smiling at me like I was nothing more than a joke. By morning I had made a decision. I wasn't going to react emotionally anymore. I was going to understand everything. If this is a game, I muttered to myself, grabbing my phone, then I need to know who's running it. I started going through everything. Messages, call logs, small details I had ignored before. Then one name kept appearing again and again in different conversations, different contexts. Daniel Hayes. I frowned. Who is Daniel Hayes? I whispered. I searched deeper, connecting small dots that suddenly didn't feel small anymore. Both Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks had mentioned Daniel Hayes at different times, but never directly. Always casually. Always like it didn't matter. But now, it mattered. A lot. This isn't random, I said quietly. This is organized. I called Ryan Mitchell immediately. Ryan Mitchell, I found something, I said the moment he picked up. Daniel Hayes, I added. There was a pause. That name sounds familiar, Ryan Mitchell replied. Dig deeper, I said. Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks are both connected to Daniel Hayes. Ryan Mitchell went silent for a moment. Jason Carter, that's not good. Why? I asked. Because Daniel Hayes isn't just some random guy. Daniel Hayes deals with high-profile clients, business circles, connections, influence, Ryan Mitchell said. My chest tightened. So what does that have to do with me? Ryan Mitchell sighed. It means you weren't just part of some personal joke. You might have been part of something bigger. I leaned back, my mind racing. They've been switching identities, I said slowly. Not just for fun, but for something else. Control, Ryan Mitchell said. Or advantage. That word stuck in my head. Advantage. Suddenly, everything started making sense in a way that made me feel sick. I tested the theory carefully. I went back through moments I had ignored before. That meeting, that favor, that introduction, I whispered, piecing things together. Every time Emily Brooks, or Olivia Brooks, interacted with someone, something came out of it. A favor. A connection. A deal. They weren't just playing with me, I said under my breath. They were practicing. Practicing how to manipulate people. How to control emotions. How to confuse and dominate situations. Jason Carter was just another test, I said, the realization hitting me like a punch. My hands clenched. They tested me. Played with my mind. Collected everything they could from me, and laughed about it. The humiliation burned deep. Not because I didn't see it sooner, but because I trusted completely. I believed in something real. And to them, it was just another experiment. I was never special, I said quietly. I was just useful. You look terrible, Laura Carter said the moment I walked into her place. I let out a weak laugh. That obvious? Laura Carter crossed her arms, studying me closely. Jason Carter, what happened? I hesitated, then told Laura Carter everything. Not just the surface, but the truth I had uncovered. When I finished, Laura Carter didn't look shocked. Laura Carter looked angry. They played you, Laura Carter said firmly. Yeah, I replied, my voice low. They did. Laura Carter stepped closer. That doesn't make you stupid. I looked up. It feels like it. Laura Carter shook her head. Jason Carter trusted someone. That's not stupidity. That's being human. I stayed silent. Laura Carter softened slightly. You weren't stupid, you trusted the wrong people. That line stayed with me. It didn't erase the pain, but it changed how I saw it. Maybe I wasn't weak. Maybe I was just honest in a world where honesty was being used as a weapon. Later I met Sophia Reed again. Jason Carter figured it out, didn't Jason Carter? Sophia Reed asked gently. I nodded. It wasn't just a game. It was manipulation. Sophia Reed sighed. I was afraid of that. They used me, I said. And I let them. Sophia Reed shook her head. No. They used tactics. You gave trust. I looked at Sophia Reed. What do I do now? Sophia Reed paused, then said quietly, that depends. Do you want revenge, or closure? I thought about that question longer than I expected. Revenge meant confronting them, screaming, breaking everything in anger. But closure meant something else. Something colder. Something controlled. I exhaled slowly. I don't want to give them another emotional reaction, I said. That's what they expect. Sophia Reed nodded. Then what will you do? I looked down at my hands, then slowly tightened them into fists. I'm not going to react, I said. I'm going to expose them. Sophia Reed didn't interrupt. Sophia Reed just listened. They built everything on illusion, I continued. On control, deception, identity. I lifted my gaze, my voice steady now. So I'll take that away. Sophia Reed's expression changed slightly. Jason Carter sounds different. Jason Carter is different, I replied. The anger was still there, but it wasn't wild anymore. It was focused. Sure. Controlled. I stood up slowly. I'm not going to scream, I said quietly. Then I looked straight ahead, my decision fully formed for the first time. I'm going to destroy their illusion. I didn't rush. That was the first rule I gave myself. No emotion, no reaction, no mistakes. If Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks had been playing a game, then I needed to become better at it than they were. Act normal, I whispered to myself while staring at my phone. Act like Jason Carter still believes everything. I texted Emily Brooks first. Miss you, I wrote. The reply came quickly. Miss you too. I smiled faintly, not because it meant anything anymore, but because it confirmed one thing. Emily Brooks had no idea I knew the truth. Want to come over tonight? I said. Of course, Emily Brooks replied. Simple. Easy. Controlled. I leaned back, exhaling slowly. You really think you're still in control? I muttered. But this time I wasn't confused. I wasn't reacting. I was watching. Every word, every tone, every move. I was studying it all like evidence. When Emily Brooks arrived, everything felt familiar again, but now I could see the cracks clearly. You look better, Emily Brooks said, smiling as she stepped inside. Jason Carter was worried about you. I chuckled lightly. Yeah, I've just been thinking too much. I told you, Emily Brooks said, walking closer. You need to relax. I nodded, playing along. You're right. Emily Brooks studied me for a moment, like trying to read something deeper. So, no more weird questions? Emily Brooks asked. No more weird questions, I replied calmly. Emily Brooks smiled again, satisfied. But I noticed something, subtle but important. The way Emily Brooks stood. The way Emily Brooks spoke. It wasn't always the same. Sometimes softer. Sometimes sharper. Sometimes playful. Sometimes cold. Switching, I thought quietly. Right in front of me. And this time I wasn't blind to it. I was recording it, mentally, emotionally, carefully. Every version. Every difference. Every mistake. I started gathering everything. Messages first. Screenshots of conversations where contradictions were clear. Then photos. I reached out to Ethan Cole, a photographer I knew. Ethan Cole, I need a favor, I said over the phone. What kind of favor? Ethan Cole asked. Did you ever take photos at the downtown hotel last week? I asked. Yeah, Ethan Cole replied. Event coverage. Why? I need copies, I said. There was a pause. This sounds serious, Ethan Cole said. It is. Ethan Cole didn't ask more questions. Ethan Cole just sent the files. And there it was, clear as day. Two identical Emily Brooks in different places, same night, same time. My chest tightened as I stared at the images. You really thought no one would catch this, I whispered. Then voice recordings. Small conversations I replayed, analyzing differences in tone, in memory, in attitude. Then witnesses. People who had interacted with Emily Brooks at times that didn't align. It wasn't just proof anymore. It was a pattern. A system. A game they had perfected. Jason Carter, this is enough, Ryan Mitchell said as we sat together reviewing everything. This isn't just evidence. This is exposure. I nodded slowly. It has to be perfect. Ryan Mitchell leaned back. What's the plan? I looked at him. Public, I said. They played in private. I ended in public. Ryan Mitchell smirked slightly. That's cold. They made it cold, I replied. Just then my phone buzzed. A message. Olivia Brooks. Miss me yet? I stared at the screen, my jaw tightening. Another message followed. Or do you miss the version of me that actually understood you? My hands clenched. That same mocking tone. That same control. They still think I'm confused, I said quietly. Ryan Mitchell leaned forward. Then prove them wrong. I exhaled slowly. I will. A notification popped up right after. Mark Benson. Big party this weekend. High-profile crowd. You and Emily Brooks should come. I stared at the message for a second, then smiled. This is it, I said. Ryan Mitchell raised an eyebrow. The stage. The perfect one, I replied. That night, I stood alone outside Mark Benson's venue, the lights bright, the atmosphere alive, people walking in with smiles, unaware of what was about to happen. My heart was steady, not racing like before. No confusion. No doubt. Just clarity. I looked down at my phone one last time. Messages. Photos. Recordings. Everything ready. Jason Carter could walk away right now, I whispered to myself. Leave everything behind. Forget it ever happened. For a second I considered it. A quiet ending. No drama. No revenge. Just moving on. But then my screen lit up again. Another message from Olivia Brooks. Don't overthink tonight. Just enjoy whichever version you get. That was it. The final push. I locked my phone, my expression going completely still. No, I said quietly. No more games. I lifted my head, looking at the entrance. The place where everything would finally end. Tonight, I whispered under my breath, stepping forward with calm, controlled determination. Everyone will see the truth. The music was loud, the lights were bright, and everything looked perfect on the surface. I stepped inside Mark Benson's party, scanning the room calmly, my expression controlled. Then I saw them. Emily Brooks, or Olivia Brooks. I couldn't tell at first glance anymore, and that was the point of their game. Emily Brooks stood near the center, smiling, talking, blending into the crowd like nothing was wrong. A few minutes later, I spotted the other one across the room, laughing with a different group. Same face. Same look. Different presence. Still switching, I muttered under my breath. Ryan Mitchell stepped beside me. You ready? Ryan Mitchell asked quietly. I nodded. Yeah. Let them play a little longer. I walked toward Emily Brooks slowly, keeping my tone light. Hey, I said. Emily Brooks turned, smiling warmly. Jason Carter, you made it. Wouldn't miss it, I replied. For a moment I played along just like before. Just like they expected. We talked casually and I watched closely. The tone, the gestures, the way Emily Brooks reacted to things, it shifted slightly, almost invisibly. Then, just as expected, Emily Brooks excused herself. I'll be right back, Emily Brooks said. I smiled. Take your time. I stepped back, watching carefully. Minutes later, Emily Brooks returned, but something was different. The smile was sharper. The posture slightly more confident. Miss me? Emily Brooks asked playfully. I tilted my head slightly. Depends, I said calmly. On which version of Emily Brooks I'm talking to. Emily Brooks froze for half a second. Just a second. But I saw it. That tiny crack. Then the smile came back. You're funny tonight, Emily Brooks replied. I nodded slowly. Yeah, tonight feels different. Around us, people were laughing, talking, enjoying the party, completely unaware of what was about to happen. I took a deep breath. Let's make it interesting, I said quietly. I stepped forward slightly, raising my voice just enough to catch attention. Emily Brooks, or should I say Olivia Brooks? I said clearly. A few people nearby laughed, thinking it was a joke. Emily Brooks smiled, playing along. Jason Carter, don't start, Emily Brooks said lightly. I didn't smile back. No, really, I continued. Which one are you right now? The laughter faded slightly. The tone shifted. People started paying attention. Emily Brooks crossed her arms, still trying to control the situation. Jason Carter, you've had too much to drink, Emily Brooks said. I shook my head. No. I've had enough. I pulled out my phone slowly. Let's make this simple, I said. Because I'm tired of the confusion. The room grew quieter. Ryan Mitchell stepped closer, watching carefully. I looked directly at Emily Brooks. You've been switching with Olivia Brooks this entire time, I said firmly. Same face. Different person. Different memories. A few people exchanged confused glances. Emily Brooks laughed again, but it sounded forced now. This is ridiculous, Emily Brooks said. You sound insane. Do I? I replied calmly. I tapped my phone and turned the screen toward the crowd. Then explain this. I showed the first photo. Two identical Emily Brooks standing in different parts of the same hotel, same night. The murmur started immediately. That's edited, Emily Brooks said quickly. Is it? I asked. I swiped to the next image. Then another. Then another. Different angles. Different times. Same truth. That's not possible, someone whispered in the crowd. Olivia Brooks stepped forward from behind, trying to laugh it off. Okay, this is getting weird, Olivia Brooks said. Jason Carter, this isn't funny. I turned to Olivia Brooks slowly. So now Olivia Brooks wants to talk? I said. The room went silent. You've both been playing the same game, I continued. Switching identities. Testing people. Collecting what you can. I pulled up the messages. Different conversations. Different tones. Same number. Then the recordings. Different voices. Same story. Emily Brooks' face changed. The confidence was gone now. Replaced by something else. Panic. You're twisting things, Emily Brooks said, her voice shaking slightly. Am I? I asked. Then explain the timeline. I pointed at the screen again. Emily Brooks was with me while Olivia Brooks was seen somewhere else. Same time. Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence filled the room. No one laughed anymore. No one spoke. Then I said the name that changed everything. Daniel Hayes, I said clearly. That got a reaction. Not just from them, but from others too. Victor Langston, who had been standing nearby, stepped forward slightly. What about Daniel Hayes? Victor Langston asked, his tone sharp. I met his gaze. Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks are connected to Daniel Hayes, I said. Using this switching game to manipulate people. To gain access. To collect favors. The room shifted instantly. The atmosphere turned cold. Victor Langston looked at Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks, his expression unreadable. Is that true? Victor Langston asked. Emily Brooks didn't answer. Olivia Brooks didn't laugh this time. That silence said everything. Victor Langston nodded slowly. Then we're done, Victor Langston said coldly, stepping back. That was the moment everything collapsed. The whispers started again, but different this time. Not confusion. Judgment. Disgust. People stepped away from Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks, creating distance like they were something dangerous. The confidence they carried all night vanished completely. Emily Brooks looked at me, eyes wide, voice barely steady. Jason, please, Emily Brooks whispered. I stared back, feeling nothing now. No anger. No pain. Just clarity. Please what? I asked quietly. Emily Brooks stepped closer, desperate now. We can talk about this, Emily Brooks said. I shook my head slowly. No, I replied. You had plenty of chances to talk. Olivia Brooks tried to speak, but no words came out. The control was gone. The illusion was broken. And everyone could see it now. I took one step back, creating distance between us. You wanted a game, I said calmly. Emily Brooks' eyes filled with panic. Jason, no, I interrupted. My voice steady. Final. You wanted a game, I repeated. Then I turned away, leaving them standing there, exposed, humiliated, and completely alone as the crowd watched in silence. The silence after that night felt louder than the party itself. I didn't go back to normal life right away because nothing about me was normal anymore. My phone kept buzzing for days. Messages, calls, people asking questions. Jason Carter, what happened at that party? Jason Carter, is it true about Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks? I didn't answer most of them. I didn't need to. The truth had already spread faster than anything I could say. You really ended them, Ryan Mitchell said when we met a few days later. I shook my head slowly. No. They ended themselves. I just showed everyone what was already there. Ryan Mitchell nodded. Still, that took control. I leaned back, exhaling quietly. It didn't feel like revenge, I admitted. It felt like closing something that should have never started. For the first time in weeks, my mind wasn't racing. It was quiet. Clear. Jason Carter, you should see this, Sophia Reed said, handing me her phone at work. I looked down and saw posts, discussions, people talking openly about Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks. Reputation destroyed, I muttered. Sophia Reed nodded. People don't like being manipulated. I scrolled further. They've been cut off, I said. No invitations. No connections. Sophia Reed crossed her arms. That kind of behavior doesn't survive in those circles. I handed the phone back. And Daniel Hayes? I asked. Sophia Reed hesitated. Gone, Sophia Reed said. Completely distanced. Publicly denied any connection. I let out a quiet breath. Of course. The same person who helped build that system walked away the moment it collapsed. Typical, I said. People like that don't stay when things fall apart. Sophia Reed studied me for a moment. Does it feel good? I thought about that. Really thought about it. Then I shook my head. No, I said honestly. It just feels finished. A few days later, I met someone I never expected, Clara Hayes. You're Jason Carter, Clara Hayes said, her tone calm but direct. I nodded. Yeah. Clara Hayes sat across from me without hesitation. Daniel Hayes won't come near you, Clara Hayes said. But that doesn't mean the story ends there. I frowned. What do you mean? Clara Hayes leaned forward slightly. Emily Brooks and Olivia Brooks weren't the only ones, Clara Hayes said. Daniel Hayes has been running this kind of manipulation for years. Social games. Identity tactics. Emotional control. My chest tightened. So I wasn't the only target. Clara Hayes shook her head. Not even close. I looked away for a second, processing that. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Clara Hayes smiled faintly. Because someone needed to expose it. And you did. I stayed quiet. Clara Hayes stood up slowly. Just don't let it define you, Clara Hayes added before walking away. That line stayed with me longer than anything else. Jason Carter, you look different, Sophia Reed said later that evening as we sat together quietly. I smiled slightly. Different how? Calmer, Sophia Reed replied. Like something heavy is gone. I nodded. It is. Sophia Reed looked at me carefully. What now? I leaned back thinking for a moment. Now. I live, I said simply. No more games. No more trying to figure people out. Just honesty. Sophia Reed smiled softly. That sounds peaceful. It is, I said. Ryan Mitchell joined us shortly after, dropping into the chair with a grin. So this is what peace looks like? Ryan Mitchell joked. I laughed lightly. Something like that. Ryan Mitchell leaned forward. I'm glad you didn't let it break you. I looked at him, then shook my head slowly. I didn't break, I said. I woke up. The words felt real. Not dramatic. Not forced. Just true. And for the first time, I believed them completely. I saw Emily Brooks one last time a week later. No party. No crowd. Just a quiet street and a version of Emily Brooks I barely recognized anymore. No confidence. No control. Just silence. Emily Brooks stepped closer slowly. Jason. Emily Brooks whispered. I didn't move. What do you want? I asked calmly. Emily Brooks looked down, then back at me. I'm sorry, Emily Brooks said. We didn't think you'd break like this. I let out a small breath, almost amused by that. That's the thing, I replied. I didn't break. Emily Brooks' eyes filled slightly. Then what happened? Emily Brooks asked. I held her gaze, my voice steady. I woke up. The words landed differently this time. Final. Complete. Emily Brooks swallowed hard. I wish I never played that game, Emily Brooks whispered. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. I turned and started walking away, not looking back, not stopping, not hesitating. Because I didn't need closure anymore. I already had it. And as I walked forward, leaving everything behind without regret, one thought stayed with me clearly. They thought they could confuse me, but in the end I found myself.